Kore Mapenduka and welcome to Africa Good Morning, the show that keeps you up to date with the latest news in Africa and beyond. My name is Glenora Shipura, joined by Diana Master. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
It's really cold, but I'm well.
Really? It's not as cold as it was yesterday and the day before, though.
Really? I felt like Tuesday? Yeah, I was with you on Tuesday.
Yes.
I feel like it was pretty cold as well.
Yes. Tuesday and Wednesday were pretty cold. This week they were, I would say, the lowest temperatures.
Yeah. I'm hearing. So yesterday I went out early morning to the yoga class, and I was like, why is it so hard for me to go to class? And then the teacher was like, yeah, it's like -4, it's 4 degrees, like it's like a ridiculous.
It was yesterday was cold. I think it was right around 4 degrees or something.
Yes,
but I think on Tuesday it was there by 2 degrees.
Wow.
Yes, but let's get into what you can expect in today's broadcast. Sudan army withdraws from truce talks. Kavango food poison deaths blamed on hunger. Uganda accuses West of blackmail in its response to anti-LGBTQ law. Stick around, we'll be back with our top stories right after this break.
Today is the 1st of June 2023, and here are your top stories. Sudan army withdraws from truce talks. Sudanese officials say the army has suspended ceasefire talks with the paramilitary rapid support forces, accusing the group of repeatedly violating previous truce agreements. The army took the decision because the rebels have never implemented a single one of the provisions of a short-term ceasefire, which required their withdrawal from hospitals and residential buildings, and have repeatedly violated the truce. A government official speaking on condition of anonymity has told the AFP news agency. Now, a Sudanese diplomatic source also informed the Reuters news agency about the army's withdrawal from the fragile ceasefire talks, which are aimed at enabling humanitarian access. Both the army and the RSF have not publicly commented on the said withdrawal. On Monday, mediators from the United States and Saudi Arabia said the army and the RSF had agreed to extend a humanitarian ceasefire by 5 days.
Kavango food poison deaths blamed on hunger. Hunger and poverty were reportedly the key analysts in the deaths of 13 family members of a Kavango East family. The family ate suspected poisoned food, having earlier in the day traded reeds for grains so that they could secure a meal. A Namibian Sun visit to Kayova village yesterday established that the family, which consists of 22 members in total, was in desperate need of food. The family is comprised of 4 households situated close to one another, where none of the family members are employed. The deaths are linked to Mahangu grains the family got after collecting reeds and trading them. It is not yet the season for harvesting reeds, but the family was forced to do so in exchange for food. The Mahangu was sought from a relative identified as Fabianus Mukoya, who lives just some 500 meters away. As of yesterday, Tuesday, 13 people had died over a span of 3 days.
Uganda accuses West of blackmail in its response to anti-LGBTQ law. Uganda on Tuesday condemned the Western response to the East African country's new anti-LGBTQ law, considered one of the harshest in the world, and said sanction threats from donors amounted to blackmail. The law, signed by President Yoweri Museveni, carries the death penalty for aggravated homosexuality, an offense that includes transmitting HIV through gay sex. Its enactment, announced on Monday, drew immediate rebukes from Western governments and puts in jeopardy some of the billions of dollars in foreign aid the country receives each year. U.S. President Joe Biden threatened aid cuts and other sanctions, while Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the government would consider visa restrictions against Ugandan officials. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell said the law would impact Uganda's ties with the international partners. In the Ugandan government's first detailed comments since Museveni signed the law, Information Minister Chris Buryomunsi rejected the condemnation.
Now moving over to South Africa, Western Cape's farm under quarantine after outbreak of bird flu. The Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development has confirmed that a total of 5 highly pathogenic avian influenza or bird flu cases have been detected at commercial chicken farms in the Western Cape. The department shared the update on the outbreak of HPAI on Tuesday. The department spokesperson Regine Ngobo said they have taken action against the outbreak of bird flu in the Western Cape. All affected farms have been immediately placed under quarantine and no live animals or birds and eggs are allowed to be removed from the farm. The department would like to reassure consumers that commercial poultry meat and eggs are safe to eat. Care should, however, be taken when preparing food to avoid other foodborne pathogens, Ngobo said. Ngobo said birds infected with bird flu get sick fairly quickly and die. HPAI outbreaks have been occurring worldwide and were detected in poultry in other South African provinces earlier this year and throughout 2022. Avian influenza or bird flu is a viral disease spread by direct contact between healthy and infected birds or through indirect contact with contaminated equipment or other materials.
Wrapping up our top stories, Google calls on African healthcare startups to join its Growth Academy. Google recently announced the launch of the Google for Startups Growth Academy, which aims to help startups to use artificial intelligence to improve healthcare solutions in Africa and the Middle East. The Google for Startups Growth Academy is a hybrid program dedicated to supporting and accelerating the growth of startups using artificial intelligence and machine learning technology to develop tech solutions in the healthcare and wellness industry, thereby improving the health of millions across the globe. The 3-month workshop will offer participating startups essential growth skills, Google tools and products, and internalization strategies to help them scale. Selected startups will be exposed to industry experts, mentoring and networking events. According to Google, founders will develop data-driven strategies for getting new customers and partnerships, innovate responsibly with emerging technologies, and expand to new markets.
That brings us to the end of our top stories. After the break, we talk the Youth Tourism Summit. Stick around.
Newsprint Namibia is a web offset printing operation that specializes in the printing of newspapers and commercial inserts. We are the leaders in our industry with the highest quality print work and the shortest turnaround time from computer to print and delivery anywhere in the country daily. Newsprint was established mainly as a newspaper print company, but had to diversify its business to do commercial printing as required in the market. We print commercial inserts previously printed in South Africa in the shortest possible time. We, as an organization, also started printing workbooks for our education system and will also print textbooks for the Namibian market. For more information, please contact print@newsprint.com.
Now, the government of the Republic of Namibia, through the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, organized the 5th Africa Youth in Tourism Innovation Summit and Challenge 2023, taking place in Swakopmund. Under the theme, Developing Youth and Innovative Entrepreneurship Solutions for Inclusive Tourism Recovery in Africa, the official welcoming remarks were given by Neville Andre Itope, Governor of the Irongo region. Let's take a look.
Moreover, I'm honored as the office in charge of the Kavango region to firstly welcome you to our region while not taking the essence away from the main purpose of which we are all gathered here today, which is to welcome you to the 5th edition of Africa Youth in Tourism Innovation Summit and Challenge, in short, AITS in Swakopmund. The tourism industry in particular has been identified by the government of the Republic of Namibia as a key driver of the economy. The Harambe Prosperity Plan 2 and the National Development Plan, which are development programs for Namibia, seeks to alleviate poverty through good governance and sustainable management of our natural resources. It is against this background that the Namibian government, through the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Services, in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment, Tourism and Forestry, within the Tourism growth and recovery strategy to seek to include music, dance, and arts in tourism products, as well as provide opportunities for cultural tourism, sports tourism, and voluntary tourism. The aforementioned initiatives are all some of the measures that government initiated to ensure that the Namibian youth effectively form part of the tourism industry. The fourth edition of the Africa Youth in Tourism Summit, held last year in Windhoek, Namibia, was a huge success in that we witnessed the establishment of the Africa Tourism Innovation Hub in Namibia. The main objective of this Tourism Innovation Hub is to support the digital transformation in the tourism sector and build pragmatic tourism entrepreneurship program that empowers the youth with insight of the tourism enterprises, business intellectual property, and access to global travel markets, mentorship, and funding opportunities. The Africa Youth in Tourism Innovation Summit in Challenges is a Pan-African platform for youth and startup in tourism, travel, hospitality, aviation, and all related industries to connect, engage, learn, innovate, and grow. We here in Kavango region see this platform as an opportunity to promote inter-Africa trade level or inter-African travel, tourism leadership, and capacity building. I hope that the ministry for bringing us this event, and I thank you very much.
In our next video, UNESCO held a webinar earlier this year to discuss the possibilities and challenges in higher education when it comes to artificial intelligence and ChatGPT. This is what Francesco Petro, director of the UNESCO Institute for Higher Education in Latin America and the Caribbean, had to say.
Of all education sectors, higher education has been the most active in the adoption of new technological developments for management, research, and teaching and learning. The rise of learning platforms during the pandemic has also contributed to increasing explorations of the use of artificial intelligence in higher education institutions. And we have in the region both institutions and companies that are leading the way internationally. Yet, what we didn't expect was the sudden generalization of conversational artificial intelligence, such as in ChatGPT. In my view, ChatGPT is for knowledge creation and management, typical tasks that students and instructors perform in higher education institutions, an electronic calculator on steroids. ChatGPT certainly can provide the students with instant access to information, but on the other hand, there are concerns that it could be used to maintain the trend of ghost writing and paper mills, which have long been damaging academic integrity in education. A significant number of institutions in countries ranging from Western Australia to the United States and most recently to India and France have moved to outlaw ChatGPT completely. We at UNESCO hope that this is not going to be a general move, because artificial intelligence considerably impacts upon traditional teaching and learning methods, and this advancement has created a shift towards more student-centered and experiential learning methods and created concerns regarding academic integrity, of course. Let me first say that the shift towards student-centered and experiential learning methods highlights the importance of reimagining assessment methods to evaluate the student learning and progress accurately. Reviewing how we conduct assessment, developing educational resources for staff and students, and prioritizing student and staff education rather than implementing like blanket bans and adopting punitive approaches focused on catching users of ChatGPT will be key here too, at least from our perspective. On the other hand, academic integrity is the ethical foundation of education, and students and lecturers must be fully aware of its importance. To avoid artificial intelligence undermining academic integrity, universities in particular must implement clear guidelines and policies on using artificial intelligence in education and academic work. This involves, of course, educating students about academic integrity and the dangers of depending too heavily on artificial intelligence systems. Moreover, if students feel the need to cheat, then there is likely to be a concrete reason why that goes beyond the technology. We urge professors to think themselves out of the adversarial battle of who can outsmart whom in the giant game of presumed cheating, and suggest that professors who require essays concentrate on the writing process, for instance. You don't want to read what students wrote 10 minutes to midnight the night before the essay is due. Instead, 2 months in advance, you may want to see the initial ideas they have and provide feedback on them. A month before the due date, you may want to see an outline and some of the citations the student have come up with. Then, you may want to see a rough draft that you will comment on. The final product, the essay, will become then really a revision and not something that has been produced overnight. Universities and individual academics can and should do exactly this with generative AI.
Let's get into your economic news. Illicit trade SA economy loses 100 billion rands annually. Business Unity South Africa presented the Transnational Alliance to Combat Illicit Trade, Organized Crime, Corruption and Illicit Trade Spotlight on South Africa report at an event yesterday. Now, illicit trade includes illicit alcohol, illicit tobacco, fishing, wildlife trafficking, illegal mining, counterfeit goods, substandard and falsified medicines, illicit trade in fuel, food and apparel. The report states that the SA Revenue Service estimated the cost to the economy to be 100 billion rands every year. BOSA estimated SA losses about 250 million rands a day, and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development estimated that 1% of GDP is lost to illicit financial flows. Trusted commissioned the Global Illicit Trade Environment Index, which ranked SA at 42 out of 84 countries. SA's illicit economy is fed by inflation, unemployment, corruption, and the lasting effects of the COVID pandemic.
Now, Kenya's central bank lowers 2023 growth forecast to 5.5%. Kenya's central bank has lowered its economic growth projection for this year to 5.5%. A presentation by the bank's governor, Patrick Njoroge, showed on Wednesday. The bank had said in March that the economy would expand by 5.8%. Njoroge did not address the new forecast. The economy expanded by 4.8% last year, lower than the pace of expansion in 2021, weighed on by a contraction in the agriculture sector. Njoroge, who will leave the post mid-next month after 8 years, said he expected the farming sector to rebound strongly due to the base effects of last year's contraction and adequate rainfall across the country. Agriculture accounts for more than a fifth of economic output in the East African nation. Tourism, which is another key sector, is reporting good forward bookings, the governor said, pointing to a strong performance in the months ahead.
We now take a look at our economic indicators before we get into your sports news.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news. Starting off with tennis news first, it is the French Open that's being played currently in Paris, one of the 4 majors of the year. And in the men's division, a big surprise that happened in the first round is number 2 seed Daniel Medvedev. He's out of the tournament. He lost to unseeded Thiago Seyboth Wild. He is from Brasilia and he is number 171st in the world. And he lost in 5 sets to Wild. It is Daniel Medvedev, the Italian Open finalist or the Italian Open winner, that's out of the tournament. In the Italian Open, he showed that he was the player on form on clay in the men's division. He played against Holger Rune, and Holger Rune, number 6 seed, he is through to the second round. He beat Chris Eubank of the USA in 4 sets. Southern African interest, it's Lloyd Harris that lost in the first round. He played against Alexander Zverev. He's at 22nd seed, and that was in 3 sets that Zverev won. Over to the women's division, it's number 1 seed Iga Swiatek. She's from Poland, easily through to the second round. She beat Cristiana Busca of Spain by 6-4 and 6-love. Also number 6 seed Coco Gauff of the USA, a good start for her. She beat Rebecca Masarova also in the first round. And then Southern African interest, it is Ons Jabeur of Tunisia. She's also through to the second round. And the number 4 seed Elena Rybakina, she's the Wimbledon champion and also doing well on clay. She's also through, beating Brenda Sevastova by 6-4 and 6-2. Continuing with Formula 1 racing news, it is the Spanish Grand Prix this coming weekend. And the news from Formula 1 from Ferrari is that the team principal, Frederic Vasseur, said that the team is far away from expectations. And that is regarding the result in Monaco and result throughout the year. It was in 2022 that Ferrari was the closest rivals to the Red Bull Hondas of Max Verstappen. But this year it is Aston Martin and Mercedes-Benz that's doing better than Ferrari at the moment. This past weekend in Monaco, it was Charles Leclerc that qualified 3rd on the grid, but in racing he finished the Grand Prix in 6th position, and Carlos Sainz, his teammate, he finished in number 8. It is team principal Vasseur that said there will be many upgrades for the race in Spain this coming weekend, so Ferrari will make some big changes before the race that starts on Sunday in Spain. And to conclude international sports news, some golf news. It is the Ryder Cup team event that's going to start on the 29th of September. That is in Rome. Still a long way to go, but there's lots of comments coming in regarding the team makeup. That is when Europe play against the USA. It's a competition rich in tradition, and it is the topic of discussion is the players that currently play in the breakaway league, the Live Golf Initiative. They're allowed to play in the majors like the Masters, US Open and the PGA, but they've been banned from the PGA and the DP World Tour. So that's a difficult situation for the team managers and the team selections. And at the moment, it seems like they will not be included in the Ryder Cup. It is, however, world number 2, John Rahm of Spain, that came out and made a statement that is said that they should be included regardless of them playing in the Live Golf Initiative. There's some strong players on both sides playing in the Live Golf that would, in a normal situation, be selected for the Live Golf teams, and it is for the USA players like Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson and also Bryson DeChambeau, and then also for the Europe team that played in the 2021 Ryder Cup team, it is Sergio Garcia, Ian Poulter and Lee Westwood. They're all currently playing in the Live Golf Initiative. Brooks Koepka won the PGA the past week or a week or two ago, so he showed his class, and it is John Rahm that feels strongly that they should be included, but it's still up for the decision of the American team and the European team if they're going to be included, and that selection will be made later in the year. That's international sports news for today. I hope you have a great sport day, and we talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
You're still with Africa Good Morning. If you're just joining us, let's take a look at the highlights from today's broadcast. Sudan army withdraws from truce talks. Kavango food poison deaths blamed on hunger. Illicit trade, South African economy loses 100 billion rand annually.
And with that, we've come to the end of our show. Don't forget, you can catch Africa Good Morning tomorrow, same time, same place. From me, Glenora Shipura.
And Diana Master, we wish you a lovely Thursday ahead.